What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Juice Opinions. I know I don't do these as regularly as I used to, but been busy working on some home improvement projects and stuff, and with football season, it's a little tougher for me to find the time. So this week, though, I felt like so strongly about this topic that I just had to talk about it. Obviously, if you see the title, how NBA 2K and FIFA dropped the ball. Obviously, I'm talking about the Switch versions of those games. And again, if you know me, if you've been following me for a while, I'm not going to pretend like, you know, I was super excited to buy sports Sims games. I haven't supported NBA since the Dreamcast, and I've never actually bought a FIFA game, but I do have some of my most fondest memories of the 16-bit era are playing FIFA. What one was it? 94 or 95 on my buddy's Sega Genesis. It was pretty much the only Genesis game I have fond memories playing. Like I just never was a fan of the Genesis. I hated the controller and all that. But a friend of mine was super into soccer, and he was a keeper in school, and then he continued to play afterwards and after school and stuff. And we used to just play FIFA, put on the Offspring's CD at the time, and just play FIFA for hours. And we had a blast yelling "goal," when we'd score. So, so while I don't usually buy these annual games and kind of make fun sometimes when I hear people say, what you been playing lately? Oh, I've been playing 2K, been playing Madden, stuff like that. Sometimes I kind of make fun of those people, but for Nintendo, as a Nintendo fan, I was intrigued and excited about the potential for these games coming to Switch and what it meant for third-party games and out of the gate, NBA was shown on the October reveal. I mean, that was so long ago. I wonder if they actually had a build working or if that was just faked footage. But NBA was out there in the beginning. People were excited. FIFA had a reveal at the January 12th event, and it was just, I forget who it was, some suit from EA talking about bringing FIFA. They didn't specify it was going to be FIFA 18. It was it lacked confidence. So out of the gate, I think NBA was the front runner in people's minds. Hey, I have a good feeling about this. And for me, both games I knew they existed, but really wasn't thinking about them. It wasn't until WWE was announced for the Switch where I was like, all right, 2K or Take-Two, whoever is making the calls, is supporting the Switch. So without ever seeing any NBA, I went and pre-ordered NBA 2K18 for the Switch through Best Buy Gamers Club. Was going to get it for $50 after tax. And, I was cautiously optimistic. And then for me, FIFA was never really a consideration. Well, a lot of things have changed since then. And I made a video, not Juice Opinions, not that long ago, maybe 2 or 3 videos ago, where I said it was going to be interesting to see how this played out, because at that time, it was revealed FIFA was going to be 1080p 60 in docked mode with kind of a custom engine. We already knew it wasn't going to use the Frostbite. And then NBA was revealed that it's going to use the same game engine. And then we found out, the frame rate and stuff. So a lot's changed since then, and I still think it's interesting. But there's one thing that really stood out where I say they just dropped the ball. Both companies screwed up equally. I'm going to say what that is right now, but I want to go back and kind of set it all back up afterwards. But it's just online play with friends, right? As it stands, September 30th, 2017, you can't play NBA 2K18 or FIFA 18 on your Switch online versus friends. NBA, I guess, has an option to play in like the playground outdoor, but just to play like my Detroit Pistons against OJ and he likes the Bulls in an online match currently can't happen. Same with FIFA. To me, that makes both these games just as gimped as anything on the Wii U, anything we saw on the Wii U. It's just an absolute unacceptable. There's no good excuse at this point to not have a friends lobby in either of these games, because I've been saying this whole time, the reason I was considered NBA and then for a while for FIFA is like, it's nice to have another multiplayer game. You know, when my buddy comes over, we can just play something other than Mario Kart every time. 2 players on the same screen, plus online multiplayer. I thought it'd be a good complement to like Mario Odyssey, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 type of thing. But you can't play against your friends online. Completely unacceptable. Maybe they'll patch it. Maybe it's like, maybe there's an issue like NBA Playgrounds, but this is EA and this is Take-Two or 2K. I forget the 2K company that actually the developer, something with a V, I believe. Somebody knows. EA patched the online friend match. I haven't seen that. I don't know if that's confirmed. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. I want to set up where, for me, where NBA went from pre-ordered to now, I think it's one of the worst examples of a GIMP game I've seen on a Nintendo platform. And while FIFA, we don't know, this guy said in the chat that it's patch. Haven't heard that. To me, that's really the only major thing about FIFA. So NBA, like I said, once WWE was announced, I was like, all right, they're going in. Oh, he wants them to patch it. Yeah, dude, you got to be a little more clear. Obviously, people want it to be patched in. It isn't, so we can forget what I just said a few seconds ago. NBA, I was like, all right, 2K's all in with the Switch. They're not pulling a Capcom. They're not pulling an Activision. Well, we got burned on the Wii U, so we're not going to bring our games type of mentality that a lot of people have been damage controlling or cheerleading, you know, after E3. And then it's like, well, 2K, they're bringing NBA. That was one of the worst selling Wii U games was NBA 2K13. They're coming strong with NBA 2K18. They weren't bringing 17, a late port. They were giving us day and date 2K18, and they're bringing WWE. So I was like, all right, I'm going to pre-order this game. I used to be a bigger basketball fan. Lately, I'm not. I do listen to sports talk radio, so I know what, you know, the current climate and who's the good teams are and stuff. Unlike FIFA, where I have just no clue about any of the teams. But so the first thing we heard, and I did a video right after this, was, hey, it's going to use the same game engine. For everyone's reaction, looking at you, EA, looking at you. You know, this is how you do it. This is how you bring a third-party game. A couple days later, oh, it's only going to be 30 frames per second. I was like, damn, that's a bummer. Oh, the physical version's delayed a month. Unknown, date unknown. It's like, oh, that sucks. Turns out we didn't even know at the time that 30 frames per second also came with the 720p native resolution while docked. So if I had known that at the time, that's an even worse blow, considering that FIFA's 1080p 60. Now you're talking about NBA 720p 30, and then the delay. And I was like, I don't like that, but you know, it is what it is. I'll still give it a chance. Seen, you know, some footage, and I was like, yeah, it looks pretty good. Looks pretty good in portable mode. And then I was still kind of teeter-tottering. You know, I wasn't excited about that because, hey, I'm not a graphics whore or anything, but this is a sports game, just like racing games. Out of all of the types of games out there, the 2 games you'd expect to be able to hit the higher frame rates and the higher resolutions is sports games. So to me, the fact that it had to drop to 720, which if you see screenshot comparisons, that's a really blurry looking game in direct feed footage. Yeah, the close-ups of the character models look almost identical to PS4. Significant lack of lighting and stuff, but still 720p, that feels a little like, well, we developed it for the handheld. We didn't really optimize it for docked. That's what it tells me. There's no reason the docked and undocked should both be 720. So that's something they probably could be working on. Again, we saw this game back in October in the reveal teaser. How long they've been working on this game, you know, it's kind of questionable why they couldn't get that up to a higher resolution. Because to me, if you're going to go 30, you better not sacrifice for a sports game. Come on. But again, that's just graphics talk. even though the frame rate could affect the gameplay and the responsiveness of the controls. But then, for me, the anvil fell out of the sky for this game, and that was the whole debacle with the data. This not only do you require an SD card, which for digital I expected. Okay, let's just say that I expected to have an SD card to buy third-party games digitally on the Switch. Never for a second did I doubt that. So, okay, it's a 25 gig download, all right? Definitely got to have an SD card. There's only 25.8 gigs on Switch without anything on it. And then they're like, oh, by the way, even the physical version requires an SD card. I'm thinking, no way. It's only a 25 gig game, 16 gig card. Leaves us 9. I got 19 gigs on my Switch, no problem. Oh, by the way, it's only 6.8 going to be on the card. There's a 16 gig download for the physical version. And on top of that, we're just going to stab you while you're down. We're going to kick you and stab you. You got to have 5.8 of your internal memory available for save files for each profile. So if you had, let's say you have a kid or a girlfriend or something, wife that has used the same Switch, she wanted to play and have a save file, there's another 5.8 gigs. There's 11 gigs of your internal memory gone, wiped out. It might not use it all, but you can't. It's basically pre-allocated towards that game. To me, I'm not here to judge people. If you feel strongly enough, buy the game. I don't want to shame you, but that's absolutely unacceptable. I could live with some download, having the physical, but still having to download something. But then you're forcing 5.8 gigs of my internal memory, which I have plans to download a lot of indie games. That's just unacceptable. To me, like I said, this is the worst example of a gimped game I've ever seen in my life. You buy the physical, you have to download 16 gigs, you need an SD card, and then you need 5.8 gigs of your internal memory. Like we had a debate a couple weeks ago on the Juice is Loose. Retro and I were kind of in agreement. What's the point of a physical if it's not even, the game's not even on it? At that point, OJ loves to talk about DRM discs and what do they call it? Key codes or whatever for PC with PS4, Xbox One. NBA 2K18 is absolutely no different. Oh, but you can play some of it just on the card. Yeah, I guarantee you that there's no more than 4 teams playable with just the card without that 16 gig install. I don't know how this is acceptable for a physical game. Now, I understand for digital, like I said, I have no arguments. 25 gigs, it is what it is. You need an SD card. Needing an SD card for the physical game is unacceptable, and requiring 5.8 gigs of your internal memory. And some of that's on Nintendo's fault, because at this point, you can't put a save file on the SD card. So that could be alleviated with an update to the system. I understand that. Why the hell is it 5.8 gigs? That makes 0 sense. It's not that big on the other systems. So right there, that game was dead to me. And then seeing it direct feed footage, I don't even think it looks that good. Like the close-ups of the characters, it feels like they really wanted that to be the priority. The rest of the game, the zoomed out look, to me doesn't look that good. It just looks off. Again, another Nintendo system that gets NBA, no close physics, but the 360 and PS3 can do close physics, which is a small detail, but it's just another layer of sacrifices they made. And it just makes me feel like, how many people were working on this port? It just feels like this is still like the build for portable only. So I was already done with the game. And then we get to current status. For some reason, people felt more compelled to point out FIFA 18 didn't have the option to play with friends, when NBA 2K18 has the same problem. Now, someone said there's a convoluted way to play in like the playground mode, like the outdoor court, if you've seen any footage. That's not playing against your friends. Like, that's not the reason you want to play against, or that's not the mode you want to play against friends with. You want to be your team playing against somebody else's team. and tournament mode would have been awesome. So, okay, well, it's Nintendo's fault for the Switch doesn't have a game invite system-wide and stuff. But guess what? Even if you have that, you still have to develop the lobby for the game. And there's other Switch games that already have friend lobbies. There's an indie game. Fast RMX for sure has it. That's made by 6 people. Obviously, Mario Kart 8 and Splatoon 2 have it. ARMS has a friends lobby. I guess Xenoverse 2 has a friends lobby. NBA Playgrounds is kind of a disaster, but here's what you got to do. You create the lobby at friends. You go into there, find friends, or create room. Go to create room. You set the time of the length of the game, your settings, and then you get on your phone. Well, you do this first. Hey T, you want to play some NBA? Hey, feel good. You want to play a game of NBA? Yeah. How about give me 15 minutes? Okay. So I go in there, I create, and then he can join. Put a password on it. Have put a number of players. If you could have like 2 versus 2 or something. Done. Like we live in, this is 2017, almost 2018. This is the age of social media. And like if you're only relying on in-console game invites, like if that's how it works on PS4, Xbox One, like, oh, if somebody's on their Xbox One, here's a game invite. Well, they're playing Forza 6 or Forza 7, whatever, on their, you send them a game invite for NBA 2K, like they're going to be like, message you if they know you, hey, let me finish up. I'll join you later. Like, if anybody is watching this, if you just rely on the game invites and that's your only way you play without notifying somebody on social media in any form, you're fucking lying. I don't know a single person who's just playing a game and then someone sends them a game invite and they stop what they're doing, put in that game, and then, yeah, I guess if they're already playing NBA and the rare chance that somebody on your friends list is playing the same game as you, send them an invite, but they might be in the middle of a My Career match. Like they might have just started, they're doing good, they're going to want to finish it anyway. It just makes no sense. So just put the lobby and then find friends. You click, oh, T's got a room open, because I probably would already know because he would already message me, join. Any other players joining? You both hit okay, boom, you're playing. That has nothing to do with needing game invites. Like, yeah, it would be nice to have every available feature there, and when Nintendo's online service is fully fleshed out, that'll probably be there. But you don't have a something in the meantime. Like, again, gimped. It's totally feels like the worst case of a gimped game on a Nintendo system. I can't think of one worse. FIFA, same thing, same problem. You can play randoms online, but you can't just have a friends lobby. Hey, I want to start a match. Send somebody, hey, let's see, somebody else that was getting FIFA. Robert Rule 2 was considering it because, he likes EA and he wanted to support them and hopefully get Star Wars. Let's play some FIFA. All right, I'll create a room. It's a done deal. Like, I don't know how many people or how often I would play like a FIFA or an NBA online, but I can tell you Splatoon 2, I have 60, 65 hours in that game. Subtract maybe 15 for the single player. So that leaves about 50 hours of online multiplayer. I can tell you almost to the minute how much time I have playing Splatoon not in a friends lobby. It was one Splatfest where I picked a different team than I picked in Flight versus Invisibility. About 2.5 hours out of that 50 hours of Splatoon 2 was played by myself without friends. The rest of the time, the other 47 hours was played with friends. So for FIFA and NBA, I kind of think it'd be the same type of situation where a majority of my time would be playing with friends. So for these 2 games, not to have a friends lobby is absolutely unacceptable. And of course, somebody's knocking on my door. So I'll be right back. And if it's something I can't come back to, I'm just going to end it. So give me a second. Just stay quiet. All right, I'm back. Yeah, friend stopped over, so I'm going to wrap this up. But basically, to conclude, not only can't you play with your friends online, then a lot of the NBA games actually tied to multi online. So if you're playing My Career and let's say you're in portable mode and you lose your internet connection or whatever, then the game without an internet connection just basically wipes out whatever you were doing, resets, and you lose all that progress. It's basically like DRM to online mode, which is just a you know, kind of a common thing for big third-party games like that. But so let's say you in the middle of a game, like just happened to me, someone stops over, you pause it, your system goes into sleep mode, loses the internet connection in sleep mode, boom, your game's wiped out. You got to start over. So basically, it's like the whole game's tied to online, which is definitely not ideal for the Switch being so portable and stuff. So they probably should have adjusted the game so that you're not getting screwed. You want to, like, one of the big things with the Switch is just suspend the game and resuming it when you like, let's say at work, you're at lunch and your time's up, got to go back from lunch. I just suspend the game and put it in sleep mode and come back to it later. Well, you can't do that with this game. I don't know how FIFA works with the Ultimate Team, if that's tied to online or not. So it's just a real bummer that happened to both these games. And it's like, I was going to buy at least one of them. And then, now it turns out I'm not getting either of them. And I think it's a real bummer. So hopefully they'll make some adjustments, fix some stuff and some updates. But at this point, I think they both dropped the ball, and it's a shame. So, all right, that's going to be it for this Juice Opinion. Sorry to wrap it up a little early, but we'll see you guys next time. Who knows when it'll be, but probably in the next couple weeks.